Welcome to Safe Sensei. This is Safe Sensei Mick, here with a quick video on consistency in parenting. Many times clients come to me and they say, my spouse doesn't parent the way I'd like them to or parent the same way I do. Um, you know, People get a new car and they go through the owner's manual to learn all of the features and quirks that the new cars have and different ways they can perform. But so many times parents don't do any research or reading on how to parent their child, especially a child that has a focused challenge. When parents come together and agree on proper, consistent consequences, when they agree on using their strengths and avoiding their weaknesses to parent children, like I said, especially children with autism, ADD, ADHD on the spectrum, or whatever the clinical diagnosis is. It can create some extra static and not be as healthy as possible for the child. We want to make sure that both parents sit down and kind of go through different scenarios that are most likely to come up when they have challenges with children. Children like to negotiate, they like to control the situation, they like to control the conversation, the argument, or however it is. If you are arguing with your child, our 6 point praise and consequence system will solve that immediately. It's worked every time for us and our clients, and I hope that you can watch some of our videos on docking, on stopping repeating yourself, on telling a child when, right now, you want them to change their behavior, modify their behavior, do the task you're telling them to do, or not do the activity that you want them to stop. And tell them clearly what the consequence will be if they don't change or modify their behavior. Having a written consequence list that both the parents agree to, things on the list that are effective, that are legal in your area, that are something both of you that agree in your moral structure of parenting, that are appropriate for parenting your child. If you know what the consequence will be, and both of you are parenting in most similar ways, the child will have consistency. Children don't do things so much because they think about it, they do things more because they feel like it. You can look at a child and say, "Why did you throw that rock?" And they're going to say, "I don't know. It felt like a good rock." So helping children feel like what Mama says is the easy way the first time is what this system does. So many times parents threaten consequences that they pulled out of the air, and the consequences they usually don't follow through with, and the child doesn't feel safe because they don't have consistency. They don't feel in their spirit that the parent is going to follow through with anything, and that kind of brings up more arguing, more trying to control the conversation, and more negotiation. So make sure that you have a written consequence list. I believe in things that are uncomfortable. You can be creative on your own. If you want to reach out to me in the comment sections, I'll tell you some of the things our clients do. Or takeaways. If you do a takeaway, it's got to be something that they have on them right there. Take away one of their favorite shoes and make them walk down the mall with one shoe. Now, I had two boys, my teens were touching stuff, messing around, and I told them, I said, "Hey, stop touching stuff or I'm going to take away one of your shoes and make you walk down the mall with one darn shoe on." One of them said, "Cool, look at what I can do with my sock." It didn't affect him at all. The other one was very emotional about it. He didn't want any of his friends to see him walking with one shoe. So the written consequence list is a living, breathing, movable document. And another benefit of this is if you have a babysitter or if you have a surrogate, a grandparent, or somebody else, you can say, "Hey, these are the consequences that we use that are most effective." And so, watch our videos, learn how to dock shoulder to shoulder. Make sure you stop repeating yourself. The only reason to repeat yourself is if the child didn't hear you or didn't understand. Um, you know, tell them once. Tell them when. When is so important because if you're kind, and that's the reason most parents repeat themselves is they think they're being kind. It's actually not. It's actually having the child subconsciously feel more fear because they don't feel safe. When should be right now. If again you're kind and you say, I want you to wash your hands sometime before dinner, what are they going to do? They're going to procrastinate. I know it wasn't your intent, but you just gave them an opportunity to procrastinate, and that's what they'll do. And that's not the message we want to give. Then clearly tell them what the consequence will be if they don't perform. And when they don't perform, you stop, you exhale, and you praise them. I know that might not make sense right now, but you praise them for making a choice. This is all about them making a choice. It's not realistic to think your children are always going to be with you and that you're always going to be able to take care of them in every situation. We have to teach children to look out for themselves. That means they're going to make choices. They're going to make choices to be angry with their teachers at school. They're going to make choices to be resentful. They're going to make choices to do all the less than positive behaviors you know they're capable of. And helping them feel like what mom and dad says is the easy way the first time is a segue into helping children behave like ladies and gentlemen. You know, that's being lost in today's world. How to be courteous, how to behave like a lady, how to behave like a gentleman. Children have access to social media, and social media in many cases is teaching children how to be resentful, how to believe they're a victim of some kind, and they're simply not. We want to teach our children to get off their butts, do their work, start a business, be successful, and be happy. And that happens through self-discipline. And self-discipline is learned through good discipline. Good discipline means laying out exactly what the consequences will be, telling them that you're going to follow through with a praise saying, hey, you made a choice. It's not the choice I would have made. Let's have our consequences. You get to stay connected to your child like they're getting stitches at the ER. You wouldn't be angry with your child if they were getting stitches. You're going to help them through their consequences. I want you to think natural consequences rather than punishments. Switch that mindset. Have a consequence list. Talk with your spouse about what's most effective and how you can be the best parents you can for these children. Because I'm telling you, I've raised 6 kids myself and I've had thousands of clients. They grow up fast. And so I really hope you got something out of today's video. If you follow these instructions, if you watch our videos, your parenting experience will be much more positive, and the outcome of your children to be happy, successful, and contributing members of society can be realized easier than you think. So please reach out in the comments if you have any questions or you'd like some advice on our consequence lists. And thank you for supporting Safe Sensei. Without you guys, we're not too much. So we're having great responses from you, and I'm looking forward to hearing you in your comments. Have a great day.